Welcome, tennis fans, sport enthusiasts, and everyone tuning in from across the globe to a monumental edition of our tennis coverage. Today, we are unpacking a headline that has sent shockwaves of excitement not just through the global tennis community, but specifically through the hearts of millions of fans in the Philippines, the Filipino diaspora worldwide, and quite spectacularly, the local crowds and organizers in Europe. The headline we are looking at today is a blockbuster. All of Germany celebrated Alexandra Eala's first match versus both Pinay Filk and Leila Fernandez. Now, you might be wondering, why is all of Germany celebrating a first-round match between a Filipina and a Canadian of Filipino descent? To understand the sheer magnitude of this moment, we have to look at the landscape of the current Women's Tennis Association Tour, the prestige of the tournament in question, and the incredible, almost cinematic narrative that has brought these two remarkable athletes together on a collision course at the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart, Germany. This is not just a tennis match. This is a cultural milestone. This is a celebration of heritage, a clash of generations, and a spectacular showcase of left-handed brilliance on the uniquely fast indoor clay courts of the Porsche Arena. The German crowd, known for their deep appreciation of tactical, high-stakes tennis, recognizes that they have been gifted an absolute gem of first-round draw. Tournament organizers dream of first-round matchups that carry the emotional weight and global viewership potential of a Grand Slam final. And in Stuttgart, that dream has become a reality. The celebration in Germany is a celebration of world-class sport, of sold-out arenas, and of the magnetic pull of a storyline that transcends borders. To truly grasp the gravity of this encounter, we must first immerse ourselves in the atmosphere of the Stuttgart Open. The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix is not your average stop on the WTA Tour. It is a WTA 500 event, but it carries the aura, the prestige, and the elite player field of a much larger tournament. Held indoors, the clay courts in Stuttgart present a highly unusual and deeply challenging environment for players. Unlike the deep, heavy red dirt of Roland Garros or Monte Carlo, the indoor clay in Stuttgart is laid over a hard base. This means the surface plays significantly faster. The ball skids, the bounces can be lower, and the environment rewards aggressive ball strikers who can take the ball on the rise, while still demanding the sliding movement and defensive grit traditional to clay court tennis. It is a transitional tournament, a bridge between the hard court swing and the grueling European clay court season. And it is right here, in this high-pressure, high-speed indoor arena, that destiny has engineered a meeting between Alexandra Eala and Leila Fernandez. Let's talk about the cultural phenomenon that this match represents. Tennis is a truly global sport, but for decades, certain regions of the world have dominated the upper echelons of the rankings. The emergence of Asian players, and specifically players representing Southeast Asia and the Philippines, has been a hard-fought journey. The Philippines is a nation with an incredibly rich sporting heritage, deeply passionate about basketball, boxing, and billiards. But tennis? Tennis has always been a mountain waiting to be fully conquered. Enter Alexandra Eala. Born and raised in the Philippines, Alex Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a manifestation of a nation's sporting hopes on the international court. Every time she steps onto the baseline, she carries the weight of over 100 million Filipinos who see in her the validation of their own potential. She has broken barriers, becoming a Grand Slam champion in the juniors, a graduate of the Rafa Nadal Academy, and a steady, rising force on professional women's circuit. On the other side of the net stands Leila Fernandez. While she plays on a Canadian flag and has brought immense pride to Canada, her roots run deep into the very same soil that birthed Eala's ambitions. Leila's mother, Irene, is of Filipino descent. Throughout her meteoric rise, especially during her magical, captivating run to the finals of the United States Open, Leila has proudly embraced her heritage. She has spoken warmly of the Filipino culture, the food, the family-centered values that have grounded her amidst the dizzying heights of global stardom. For the Filipino diaspora, Leila Fernandez is a symbol of the immigrant dream, a testament to the resilience and the global reach of the Filipino spirit. So, when the draw for the Stuttgart Open was revealed and the names of Alexandra Eala and Leila Fernandez were placed next to each other in the bracket, the collective gasp from the tennis world was audible. The mathematical probability of these two specific players, the rising homegrown star and the established diaspora icon, Drawing each other in the very first round of a 32-player field in Germany is staggering. It is the kind of serendipity that sports writers dream of. It is why the local German fans, the international media, and the vast online community of tennis supporters erupted in celebration. It is a guarantee of phenomenal tennis fueled by an underlying current of immense mutual respect and shared cultural pride. It is a match where, for a massive segment of the audience, the concept of losing is entirely mitigated by the sheer joy of representation. No matter who advances to the round of 16, a piece of Filipino heritage moves forward. But make no mistake, while the cultural narrative is beautiful and heartwarming, the reality of professional tennis is ruthlessly competitive. Both of these women are fierce, uncompromising competitors. When the umpire calls time and the first ball is tossed into the air, the shared heritage will be pushed to periphery, replaced by the primal, laser-focused desire to win. The stakes for this match are incredibly high for both players, arguably for completely different reasons, which makes the impending clash all the more fascinating. We are not just looking at a cultural exhibition. We are looking at a pivotal, career-defining moment in the 2026 season for both Eala and Fernandez. This is where the narrative shifts from the emotional to the tactical, from the historical to the immediate reality of forehands, backhands, unforced errors, and sheer willpower. This brings us to our deep dive analysis of this monumental matchup. Let us thoroughly unpack the profiles, the current form, the tactical nuances, and the psychological battleground that will define this first-round encounter at the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix. Let us first examine the trajectory of Alexandra Eala. As she steps onto the indoor clay of Stuttgart, she finds herself at a fascinating crossroads in her young career. Eala has proven, without a shadow of a doubt, that she possesses a raw talent, the heavy ground strokes, and the elite conditioning required to compete on the WTA Tour. She has transitioned from a junior prodigy to a legitimate professional threat. Her 2026 season has shown flashes of absolute brilliance, characterized by a steady consistency that has solidified her ranking within the top 50 in the world. We saw her recent performance at the Linz Open, another indoor tournament, where she secured a deeply impressive opening round victory before falling to the sheer, overwhelming power of Jelena Ostapenko. That match in Linz was a learning curve, a masterclass in dealing with first-strike, hyper-aggressive tennis. However, the transition to clay presents a unique hurdle for the Filipina star. Historically, Eala's game has flourished on hard courts, where the true balance and predictable speed allow her to set her feet and unleash her heavy, left-handed topspin forehand. Clay, by its very nature, introduces chaos. It requires a different type of movement, the art of the slide, the ability to change directions on a slippery surface, and the patience to construct points rather than hitting outright winners from neutral positions. In the previous season, her statistics on clay were a stark contrast to her hard-court prowess, winning only a fraction of her matches on the dirt. Therefore, for Alexandra Eala, this match against Leila Fernandez is not just about beating a high-profile opponent. It is a critical test of her evolution as an all-surface player. Can she adapt her heavy baseline game to the unique demands of the Stuttgart indoor clay? Can she use her powerful left-handed serve to dictate play, rather than getting bogged down in defensive, grinding rallies? A victory here would be a massive statement, signaling that she is ready to be a threat during the grueling European clay swing leading up to the French Open. Now, let's turn our analytical lens toward Leila Fernandez. The Canadian enters this match carrying a distinctly different kind of pressure. We all remember the magic of her breakout season, the fearless, giant-slaying tennis that made her a household name. Fernandez is a player who thrives on energy, on taking the ball incredibly early, redirecting pace, and suffocating her opponents by taking away their reaction time. Her footwork is elite, her ability to find sharp angles is mesmerizing, and her fighting spirit is legendary. Yet, the 2026 season has, thus far, been a frustrating puzzle for the world number 25. Consistency has been elusive. We observed her recent campaign in Charleston, a tournament played on green clay. She opened with a scintillating vintage performance against Paulina Kudermetova, showcasing exactly why she is so highly rated. She was aggressive, her timing was impeccable, and she looked poised for a deep run. But in the very next round, she suffered a heavy, momentum-halting defeat at the hands of Diana Schneider. This has been a story of Leila's year. Brilliant flashes followed by inexplicable dips in form. She has struggled to string consecutive wins together, and as a result, she has not yet reached a quarterfinal this season. For Fernandez, the Stuttgart Open is an opportunity for a hard reset. She desperately needs a marquee victory to reignite her confidence. She needs to prove that her early striking game can penetrate the defenses of a heavy-hitting opponent on a surface that traditionally slows the ball down. Facing a younger, hungry player who shares her cultural background adds an immense layer of psychological complexity. Fernandez will be expected to win based on ranking and experience, but she knows exactly how dangerous and motivated Eala will be. Tactically, this match is an absolute dream for tennis purists. It is a rare and highly strategic lefty-versus-lefty encounter. In the standard geometry of tennis, left-handed players hold a distinct advantage because the majority of the tour is right-handed. Lefties are accustomed to serving their slicing out-wide serve into the backhand of a right-handed player on the ad court. They are used to their cross-court forehand, naturally targeting the weaker backhand side of their opponents. But when two left-handers meet, that traditional advantage is completely neutralized. The geometry flips. The tactical playbook has to be rewritten on the fly. When Eala serves out wide on the ad court, she will not be finding Leila's backhand. She will be feeding the ball directly into Leila's lethal forehand. This means the service placement has to be millimeter perfect. We are going to witness a fascinating battle of cross-court forehands. Eala hits a heavier, more topspin-laden ball, aiming to push her opponent deep behind the baseline. Fernandez hits a flatter, earlier ball, aiming to take time away and create sharp angles. Who will flinch first in these cross-court exchanges? Will Eala's heavy spin force Fernandez into producing short balls, allowing the Filipina to step in and finish the point? Or will Fernandez's exceptional hand-eye coordination allow her to stand her ground, absorb the heavy spin on the rise, and redirect it down the line for clean winners? The surface of the Porsche Arena will act as the ultimate tiebreaker in this tactical chess match. As mentioned, the indoor clay is fast, but it still allows for sliding. This dynamic slightly favors Leila Fernandez's game. Because the ball will skid and stay slightly lower than on traditional red clay, Fernandez will find it easier to execute her early striking strategy. She won't have to deal with the ball bouncing over her shoulder quite as often. Her ability to take the ball on the rise will be amplified by the speed of the court. However, this same speed means that if Alexandra Eala can consistently land her heavy first serves, she will earn a significantly higher number of free points than she would on a slower outdoor court. Eala's strategy must revolve around a high first serve percentage and using her heavy forehand to dictate the center of the court, refusing to let Fernandez dictate the angles. Another crucial element of this deep dive is the mental and emotional warfare that will take place silently between the lines. Tennis is arguably the most isolating sport in the world. You are alone on the court, battling your opponent, battling the elements, and most importantly, battling your own internal doubts. For Alexandra Eala, the pressure is about expectation. She is the rising star, the challenger. She has nothing to lose in terms of ranking points, but everything to gain in terms of proving she belongs at this elite level against a highly decorated opponent. The adrenaline of the moment, the historical significance of the matchup, could either paralyze her or propel her to new heights. She must find a way to harness the emotion of playing a childhood idol of sorts, a player who paved the way for women of Filipino descent in the modern era, and turn that emotion into focused, aggressive tennis. For Leila Fernandez, the psychological burden is arguably heavier. She is the veteran in this specific dynamic, the higher-ranked player, the Grand Slam finalist. She is expected to weather the storm of the young challenger. But she is also fighting her own internal battle against a season that has not gone according to plan. A loss in the first round to a younger, lower-ranked player, especially one sharing her heritage, would be a devastating blow to her confidence. Fernandez must draw upon her vast experience, her memory of high-pressure stadium matches, and her innate fighting spirit. She cannot afford to let frustration creep in if Eala starts hitting through the court. She must remain calm, trust her impeccable timing, and dismantle her opponent point by point. The computer models and expert predictions leading up to this match have been fiercely divided. Some point to Eala's more consistent overall results this season as an indicator of a potential upset. They argue that Eala's heavy ball will eventually break down Fernandez's defenses. Others lean heavily on Fernandez's pedigree, her superior ranking, and the belief that her game is fundamentally better suited to the fast indoor clay of Stuttgart. The consensus among analysts is that this will not be a straight sets blowout for either player. The stylistic clash, the emotional stakes, and the specific conditions of the court all point toward a grueling, dramatic three-set battle. The prediction of both players to win a set is perhaps the safest bet in what is otherwise a highly unpredictable and explosive encounter. Ultimately, this match will be decided by who can better execute their plan under extreme pressure and who possesses a tactical flexibility to switch to Plan B when the initial strategy fails. Will it be the heavy, relentless baseline power of Alexandra Eala, proving that a new queen of Philippine tennis has fully arrived on the global stage? Or will it be the sharp, angular, time-stealing brilliance of Leila Fernandez, signaling her triumphant return to form and reasserting her dominance? As we draw this extensive analysis to a close, we must return to the broader significance of what we are about to witness. The tournament in Stuttgart, the fans in Germany, and the millions watching on screens around the world are not just tuning in for a tennis match. They are tuning in for a historic moment. The fact that the entire nation of the Philippines and the vast, passionate Filipino diaspora can look at a premier WTA event in Europe and see two of their own fiercely competing on center court is a testament to the growth of the sport and the undeniable talent emerging from a region. This match is a victory before the first ball is even struck. It is a victory for representation, a victory for the dreams of young girls training on public courts in Manila, and a victory for every family that has sacrificed everything to support their children's athletic ambitions. When Alexandra Eala and Leila Fernandez meet at the net for the pre-match coin toss, they will be shaking hands across a net of shared history, shared culture, and profound mutual respect. But once the match begins, make no mistake, the pleasantries will vanish. What we will be left with is pure, unadulterated, elite athletic competition. It will be a masterclass in left-handed geometry, a brutal test of fitness and mental fortitude, and a defining moment in the 2026 seasons of both these incredible athletes. Will Alexandra Eala secure the biggest clay court victory of her young career, proving that she is ready to conquer all surfaces? Or will Leila Fernandez find her rhythm, utilize the fast indoor conditions, and remind the world why she is considered one of the most dangerous, purely talented shot makers of her generation? The answers await us on the courts of the Porsche Arena. The stage is set, the history is written, and all of Germany, alongside the rest of the world, is ready to celebrate the beautiful, brutal, and breathtaking game of tennis. Thank you for joining me for this deep dive analysis. Be sure to engage with us. Let me know in the comments who you believe will emerge victorious in this historic clash, and how many sets you think it will take. Until the first serve is struck, keep your eyes on the court and enjoy the phenomenal tennis to come.